Hello everyone, Derek from the Rangers Review here with your daily news roundup on Wednesday the 3rd of April. There is plenty of Rangers content over on the website to get stuck into. We've got the first instalment of a two-part interview with Dave King. Chris Jack sat down with the former Rangers chairman. The first part is available on the website to read just now. Very interesting stuff from King. I'll read you some extracts from said interview on supporting the club from afar. He says it's been nice overall as he reflected on life watching from afar. He says the change, I guess, comes over time. I was in the situation where I was chairman. I was a major shareholder. And at the time when you resign and step down, there is still a period of time where your knowledge base is still there and you still know what is going on. You are aware of the financial position because nothing changes in the first week or first month. With the passage of time, given that you don't get the minutes of board meetings and those private conversations about the financial affairs, you do start to lose touch with your sense of belonging and your sense of what is going on behind the scenes. He added, you become very much more of a supporter. I am no different to any other supporter in terms of my access to insider information, if you want to call it that, and it would be so old now that it is probably quite redundant. I have gone through this phase of knowing quite a bit and still being indirectly involved to becoming more removed, and I would put myself in the position of any other supporter. I am watching it more as a pure supporter, is what he had to say. He also gave his thoughts on current Rangers chairman and CEO James Bisgrove. He said about Bennett on his role as chairman. He says Rangers are in a good place right now. He says in that sense, I have the comfort now that I maybe didn't have a year or so ago, where I do feel that John Bennett is the right guy. He should have been there when I stepped down. John was a natural one, was the person to take over. But I am very confident with John, not only about his passion for the club. To be fair, Douglas, talking about Douglas Park, had passion for the club. You can never criticise Douglas for not having passion for the club. I think John is a mature businessman. I really think if you look at where the club has gone since John took over, it is more on the track that I was hoping it would take. If you take John and James, they are both individuals I know well. John was someone I brought in post-regime change. I know him well. I trust him completely. He is a smart guy who will do the right thing, but it will be balanced. It will be done with a level of maturity and thoughtfulness over the whole picture. On Bisgrove, he says, I was personally very excited about the elevation of James Bisgrove. I think James is a very good fit for CEO. He is a very smart guy. He's come into the club initially where he didn't have the background, let's call it the cultural DNA that some Rangers-minded people might have. A few things like the whole Australia thing, I think the board should have helped James and said, look, you need to be careful with this. It is not going to work with the supporters. James wouldn't have known that, but he now knows it, and he has learned a lot. He added, I think he is going to be an incredibly effective CEO for us, and I think he's one of the smartest young guys out there. I am very excited by what James can do for the club, as well as so we now have a good team there, even though I am now more disconnected. I am still a large shareholder, and I do feel a lot more confident even with that level of disconnect. My assumption is that the guys will be doing the right thing. So interesting stuff from Dave King in the first installment of our two-part interview there, folks. The second part will drop on the website tomorrow, where he discusses investment, injuries, James Tavernier, Philip Clement, and much more. So be sure to check it out on the Rangers Review site tomorrow morning. Also on the site, you'll find an interview with Todd Cantwell. Interesting stuff from Todd. He discusses being hooked against Aris in that first half of the Europa League clash at Ibrox last year. He also discusses his changing number 10 role and calling for more protection from referees. He's questioned some of the decisions and tackles made on him, and he's criticised the consistency of yellow cards being dished out. But in terms of that substitution, He says, no player wants to be that player. Listen, me and the manager have had a lot of conversations and I've got a lot of respect for the manager. I think he's a good person as well as a good manager. For me personally, in football, you have to hide your ego a little bit sometimes and you have to understand that things aren't always done for your best interest. It is the club's best interest. I think we've got a manager on our hands who cares very, very much about the club. I won't go into it, but we had a very honest conversation and it was a very respectful conversation. And I think it's been very positive on the pitch and off the pitch. Yeah, me and the manager are in a really good place. And of course, with the big game coming up against Celtic on Sunday, Cantwell probably will play in that number 10 position. He says it has changed under Clement. He says, I think you could argue that. It's definitely a different number 10 role to the number 10 role I was playing under Michael. But listen, as a footballer, you have to be able to adapt and you have to bring different parts of your game. That is something the manager is really homed in on with me. I would like to think I do have a good attitude. The club is always more important than any individual. I believe that is probably more important here than at most clubs. For me, it's been at the right end of the trophies at the end of the season. For me, that would be a good season. Yes, absolutely, Todd. It certainly would be that. And another story you'll find on the website this morning involves Rangers legend Ali McCoist. He's given his Old Firm prediction, and he reckons Rangers will pip Celtic at Ibrox on Sunday and then go on to win the league title. Talking to TalkSport Bet, he said Sunday's Old Firm derby is a coin flip. I don't think there is anything between the two sides. Rangers were dreadfully unlucky in the last game against Celtic at Ibrox. They had a goal disallowed for nothing, and Kyogo Furuhashi scored an absolute wonder goal, which, to be fair, he has always been more than capable of. The fact that Rangers have the home advantage here will be absolutely vital. Old Firm games are usually massively important, but the next one is more important than ever. If Rangers can win this game, then it will be a massive step for them towards lifting the Scottish Premiership title. Celtic's form has been erratic at times. There's no getting away from that. There has been a little bit of unrest in the camp as well, but you never know what is going to happen in an Old Firm derby. I think Rangers will win the game 2-1 and go on to win the title, but only just. So there you go, Ali McCoist having his say on the Old Firm derby at Ibrox this coming Sunday. What do you reckon the outcome will be, folks? Let us know in the comments. Remember, if you want to keep abreast of all things Rangers and keep up to date with all the goings on from Ibrox, be sure to subscribe to the Rangers Review YouTube channel. There's plenty of content coming your way this week. And also on Friday, we'll hear from the manager and whatever player Rangers put up for the press ahead of that game on Sunday. And be sure as well to subscribe to the Rangers Review website as well to read those brilliant interviews. Of course, the second part of the Dave King interview on there tomorrow. Head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. 2 great deals on offer, £4 for 4 months, £18 for the year. Thanks for watching. We'll speak to you again a little later on. Bye for now.